Shared this quite a few times. On my other YouTube channel, I had shared it, my testimony, what had happened to me whenever I died and I overdosed on pills and what I experienced. But I'm going to share it this time and I'm going to leave it on here. The reason why I deleted the other one is because, like I said, I had some stuff going on that, I'm not going to talk about, but anyway. But for those that have watched it before, bear with me. If you want to watch it again, so be it. But I feel like it's so hard for me to describe and get my point across the way that I want to get it across to get people to understand what it is, what this place is. But I'm going to try to do it a little bit better justice. Now, what had happened to me back in 2001, I overdosed on pills and died. Now, I remember it clearly because it was about 2 to 3 weeks before the World Trade Center bombings. The planes hit the towers and everything. I remember it clearly because of that reason. I was like 12 or 13, and my brother, he introduced me to doing all of that stuff. Pills and weed and alcohol. He got me smoking weed, and I wanted to fit in. So I wanted to be cool. And of course, I hung around my brother's friends, and we smoked weed and drink and stuff like that, and because I wanted to fit in. And I didn't know too much about drugs. Of course, I was a kid. I was a little baby. And one weekend, my brother's friend Michael, he came and picked me up, and we went out to his house, and we was smoking weed that weekend, and just what we normally did. And he had some pills with him. He had some pain pills, Lorcet, and he was like, "Look, man, take one of these pills." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." He said, "Oh, it'll make you feel good. It'll get you high." And I was like, "Yeah, let me take it." And so he gave me like a little piece of one, and I took it, and I felt really, really good. I was feeling good. I was high. I was enjoying myself, and we had a good weekend. It was really fun, and. So, okay, that Sunday he brought me back home, and I didn't want to come home, but of course I had to go to school. And the thing about that is at that young age, again, I didn't know any better. I didn't know right from wrong. I thought, I was grown up. I was so far from it. So he brought me home that Sunday, and when I got home, of course I didn't want the weekend to end. So he smoked some weed with me before he dropped me off. And that Monday morning, school was about to start back up again. And that Monday morning, I had woke up and I was like, man, I wish it was the weekend again and everything. I wanted to get high. I wanted to smoke some weed, but of course I didn't have any. And I thought to myself, well, let me go find some pills. And see, I didn't know any better. I thought all pills did the same thing. I thought they all got you high. That shows you how stupid I was. So I thought to myself, well, let me go get some pills and get high. So what I did was I went to my mom's bedroom, and she had a nightstand, and I pulled out the drawer of the nightstand, and because I knew that's where she kept her medicine. And she had some blood. I didn't know it at the time, but there were blood pressure pills. And I poured out like maybe 4 or 5. I can't remember how many exactly, but I poured them out in my hand and I put them in my pocket. And I went on top of the icebox, and my dad had a little thing up there full of his medicine. And he had some Elavil in there. It's a strong, strong sleeping pill, muscle relaxer. I've taken those before, they put me to sleep. And I knew what those did to me. So I went up there and I grabbed, I don't know how many, a couple of them, and I put them all in my pocket. And the bus came, and I got on the school bus, and I was thinking to myself, well, when I get to school, I'm going to sell some of these pills and make some money. So when I got to school, I started asking around who wanted to buy some, and thank God nobody did, because if somebody would have bought some, then who knows what would have happened. So nobody wanted to buy any. So what I did was I went to the water fountain, and I was like, well, nobody wants to buy any, so I'm going to take some and get high. That's what I wanted. So again, I went to the water fountain, and I had pulled, I don't know which one it was. I'm pretty sure it was, again, the Elavil, but I really cannot remember, to be honest with you. I pulled one out of my pocket, and I put it in my mouth, and I drank some water, and I took it. And I went to first period because in elementary school, get that, I was in elementary school, dude. What? And they had 4 periods. So the bell rang to go to first period, and I went to first period, and I didn't really feel anything. I kind of felt a little sleepy, but nothing, not like I wanted to feel. And which first period lasted about an hour and a half, and after that was library class, which was like 30 minutes or so. And in library class, my friends were like, well, are you high? Are you high? I was like, no. And we were talking about it all, and I reached in my pocket, and I pulled my hand out because I had them all in my pocket. I didn't have them in any kind of medicine bottle or anything. I just had them open in my pocket. So what was happening is the friction and the heat in my pocket were causing them to melt. And I reached my hand in my pocket, and I felt that they were getting all melty and slimy and whatnot. So what I did was, I wasn't feeling high like I wanted to now. So what I did is I pulled them all out of my pocket, and they were all coagulated, melted, and can't believe I did what I did, man. So I didn't have any water or anything, and what I did was, I was trying to be cool in front of everybody. I threw them all in my mouth, and I swallowed them without any water. Nasty. I remember the taste. It was disgusting. And of course, library class was over with, and when second period started, when second period began, I was sitting in second period maybe 5 or 10 minutes after we got there, and I started feeling sick, and I started feeling nauseous, and so I got up and I went to the teacher, Miss Gentry. She was a character, and I got up to her and I said, Miss Gentry, can I go to the bathroom? And she was like, well, what's wrong? You don't look too good. I was like, no, ma'am, I don't feel too good. And she said, yeah, go to the bathroom. So I grabbed the hall pass and I started walking out the door, and when I did, I fell, and it just hit me all at once. I was so high and just so messed up, and of course, everybody started coming out there, the teachers, and like, what did you take? What's going on? What's wrong with you? What did you take? And my friends ratted me out. They told them that I took some pills, because the teachers were asking me, what did you take? And I was like, I didn't take nothing. And they were saying, well, we know you took something, but I didn't want to give myself away and tell them what I had taken, because really I didn't know. So I was like, well, I didn't take anything. And they knew better. So after a few minutes of me in the hallway, they called the principal, Mr. Dan, and he came down there, and he was like, what's going on? And he seen that I was out of it. So he picked me up, and he helped me to walk to his truck. Now, I was able to walk to the truck barely, and I remember that clearly. And he got me in the truck, and thank God there was a little doctor's office, like maybe a football field away from the school. So he got me, and he put me in a truck, and we went to the little doctor's office. And I don't remember getting there. I remember getting in this truck, but I don't remember getting to the doctor's office. And when I got back into the back where they examine you, they I had died, and my heart stopped beating, my veins collapsed, my lungs collapsed. I was dead. Now, when this happened to me, I didn't see no white light. I didn't see no heaven. I didn't see nothing but darkness. Now, for those that have watched this this testimony before, you know what I'm going to talk about. But in this darkness, it was blacker than the blackest thing you've ever seen in your life, and words can't even describe the feeling. Words can't even describe the darkness. And I was aware. I knew what had happened to me. I knew I had died, and I just like I'm talking to you now. I knew what had happened, because I can hear right when it happened. Right when I died, I was hearing the people that were trying to resuscitate me. I was hearing them, and all of a sudden I stopped hearing them, and here I am in this darkness. Here I am in this abyss now, in this darkness, what I experienced, it was terrifying. There was a fear to this place that enveloped me inside and out. It just took over my body. It just took over me, and I was so fearful of what I don't know, but I was terrified. And there was no sense of hope. There was no sense of God. There was no sense of anything other than fear and dread and just terror. Again, I don't know what the presence was, but there was something in this darkness that I couldn't place, that I couldn't describe, that I couldn't understand. And it was like I was going down and sideways slowly. And the further down and sideways, it's weird, I know. The further down and sideways I went, the worse the fear became, the worse the terror became, the worse the feeling became. And it's like I had chains on me. It was like I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I couldn't talk. I couldn't even move my eyes. All I could do was look straight ahead in this darkness. And again, I was aware. I knew what had happened to me. But there was nothing that I could do. I tried so hard to speak. I tried so hard to move and do anything, but I couldn't. It's like I was stiff as a board. And here I am in this darkness going down and sideways. And again, the worse the feeling became, the worse the terror, the dread, the misery became. And, again, words can't even describe what I'm trying to get you to understand. It was terrifying. The worst feeling you can ever feel on earth can't even compare to what that place felt like. And here I am. Whatever this presence was, whatever this evil was, I knew something bad was about to happen to me. I knew whatever was there was about to get me, and things were about to get a whole lot worse for me. And I just knew it. I felt it. And here I am in this place, and something just came to me, just told me to cry out to Jesus. And I don't know where it came from, but something just told me that. And I cried out to Jesus. And as soon as I cried out to Jesus, this bright light here I am way down here in this darkness, and it was like I was looking up, or it was so weird, but this bright white light just permeated through the darkness. Now, I didn't see Jesus, but I knew it was him because I felt him. I felt this peace. And you know how somebody grabs the back of your shirt collar and like pulls you playing football or whatever? It was like he came in there. He just grabbed me and pulled me out of that place back into my body. Again, I didn't see myself physically go back into my body, but I knew the difference between being in this abyss and being in a coma, because I was in a coma for like 2 weeks. And but Jesus, I cried out to Jesus and I asked him to save me. And as soon as I did, he came in this darkness and he saved me. I don't know what was going to happen to me, but all I know what was about to happen, it would have been terrible. And of course, whenever I woke up from the coma, I was like, Mom, how long did I die? How long was I dead? And she was like, only a minute. And it was like I was in this place for hours and hours. And, so, again, if Jesus can save me from hell, he can do anything. Now, this verse speaks about, this verse here in Matthew chapter 25, verse 30, speaks of this darkness. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When I read that, as when I first got saved, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because I knew that's what I experienced, this outer darkness. And again, this place, there's no hope. There's no sense of God. All hope is gone. There's no hope. You're just. It was terrifying. But anyway, I wanted to share that, and hopefully somebody gets something out of it.